Hello my friend. Welcome back to Quotes Throughout Time. In today's video, I will share short but wise quotes from Milton Friedman, who was an American economist and statistician who received the 1976 Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences for his research on consumption analysis, monetary history and theory and the complexity of stabilisation policy. Be sure to like and subscribe for more quotes throughout time. Let's begin. A society that puts equality before freedom will get neither. A society that puts freedom before equality will get a high degree of both. When a man spends his own money to buy something for himself, he is very careful about how much he spends and how he spends it. When a man spends his own money to buy something for someone else, he is still very careful about how much he spends, but somewhat less what he spends it on. When a man spends someone else's money to buy something for himself, he is very careful about what he buys, but doesn't care at all how much he spends. And when a man spends someone else's money on someone else, he doesn't care how much he spends or what he spends it on. And that's government for you. The essential notion of a capitalist society is voluntary cooperation, voluntary exchange. The essential notion of a socialist society is force. If you put the federal government in charge of the Sahara Desert, in 5 years there'd be a shortage of sand. Government has 3 primary functions. It should provide for military defense of the nation. It should enforce contracts between individuals. It should protect citizens from crimes against themselves or their property. When government, in pursuit of good intentions, tries to rearrange the economy, legislate morality, or help special interests, the cost comes in inefficiency, lack of motivation, and loss of freedom. Government should be a referee, not an active player. If you pay people not to work and tax them when they do, don't be surprised if you get unemployment. Inflation is the one form of taxation that can be imposed without legislation. When you start paying people to be poor, you wind up with an awful lot of poor people. Why have we had such a decline in moral climate? I submit to you that a major factor has been a change in the philosophy which has been dominant, a change from belief in individual responsibility to belief in social responsibility. If you adopt the view that a man is not responsible for his own behavior, that somehow society is responsible, why should he seek to make his behavior good? The only corporate social responsibility a company has is to maximize its profits. Government is a way by which every individual believes he can live at the expense of everybody else. You cannot be sure that you are right unless you understand the arguments against your views better than your opponents do. In the 1960s, the National Education Association changed its character. The NEA changed into a union. And from that point on you can see deterioration in the quality of schooling in the United States. When everybody owns something, nobody owns it, and nobody has a direct interest in maintaining or improving its condition. That is why buildings in the Soviet Union, like public housing in the United States, look decrepit within a year or two of their construction. You cannot simultaneously have free immigration and a welfare state. The growing role that the government has played in financing and administering schooling has led not only the enormous waste of taxpayers' money but also to a far poorer educational system. Anything that government can do, private enterprise can do for half the cost. There's no such thing as a free lunch. The great advances of civilization, whether in architecture or painting, in science or literature, in industry or agriculture, have never come from centralized government. Since the 1930s, the technique of buying votes with the voters' own money has been expanded to an extent undreamed of by earlier politicians. The government doesn't have any money. The only power it has is to take from some and give to others. There's no point in comparing an actual, operating system with an ideal system that doesn't exist. There are severe limits to the good that the government can do for the economy, but there are almost no limits to the harm it can do. Nobody spends somebody else's money as carefully as he spends his own. I would say that in this world, the greatest source of inequality has been special privileges granted by the government. Underlying most arguments against the free market is a lack of belief in freedom itself. And that concludes this video. If you enjoyed our content, please comment below with your favorite Milton Friedman quote. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel for more quotes throughout time. Remember, there is power in the spoken word which will create your reality. Choose your words wisely. Have a great day.